Good afternoon, guys. Let me scoot back here a little bit. Just got through doing a shack visit video with Ronnie Hull, W5SUM and Phyllis, K5PLH. Had a real good visit with them. Also got the 2000 sub winner pick, Whiskey 5 WOC Glenn Gerard. It'll be here, the first picture you see at the end of this video, and all the other picks will follow that. Hope you enjoy this shack visit. I really did. Ronnie and Phyllis has got an excellent selection of vintage and new gear. Come here, Ham Radio Cat. Get up here. Everybody asks about you, and you're being a turd not jumping up here. Got a really good shack, some real good vintage and used gear. Had a real good visit with them. Ronnie and Phyllis, thank y'all very much. Their shack visit video is following this video. Guys, I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. This is KB5MIQ Big Boy 73. Hey everybody, it's KB5MIQ Big Boy. I'm here for a shack visit with Ronnie Hull, W5SUM, and Phyllis, K5PLH. All right, that's right. Let me flip this around here. Hey, good to see y'all this morning.
Glad to have you here.
All right, let's start on this left side of your shack. Let's just walk through everything, Ron.
All right, well, this is basically the main big station here. We've got this Icon 7610, our 9700 up there for 2-meter work, 440. We got a SPE amp that just joined our crowd here a few months ago that we like very much. We got that from Richard up there at Main Trading.
I figured that one of his amps right there.
Sure enough. And then this station over here
Before we get over here, tell us about the cards here.
Oh, yeah, let me do this.
Yeah. This is cool.
This commemorates my very first QSO on the air. This was my novice call sign, WN5AIA. And I worked old George here, WN8AAD, and that was on November the 25th, 1969. That was my daddy had to almost beat me to make me go up there and work this guy. I was so scared, you know. But anyway. Okay, so this is Phyllis's 7300 here.
Okay.
And the rest of all this stuff is my old boat anchor gear. It's all been lovingly restored. All 3 of these pieces were restored by a man named Howard Mills up in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. So they operate like they're brand new.
Well, you got a
Johnson Viking 2 transmitter. This is about 1954 vintage, which is the year I was born. This was actually a military receiver, which was made in the late 50s. This is a 51 J4. And then this is Collins's first single sideband receiver, 75A4. This was probably made about 1959, 1960, something like that.
Okay.
And that's my main receiver I listen to when I'm working AM over here.
Use this mainly for AM
Well,
work.
that's all it'll do.
That's all
and CW.
AM and CW.
Yeah. So,
Jeff has talked about them old rigs like that. He's got several he's restored now. I think he's working on that Drake he got. He's the guy who bought the Drake off.
Okay, I got you. Right. Well, you better have a good back to pick all this stuff up. I guarantee you. And of course, I like Drake stuff too. I've had a lot of it in the past. Right now, I've just got this TR4 transceiver with a matching VFO.
Okay.
And this is can't get your tail out of the way. This is just an R4B receiver here.
Okay.
And then this is the Hot Water 101 that I built in 1972 on my mother's dining room table.
All right.
And I was lucky enough to track it down 4 or 5 years ago and get it back. And it operates in absolutely great condition.
I've always liked those rigs too for some reason. Never owned one other than one, but
well,
I always thought they were cool.
I've got several out in my Radio Shack now that I'm working on. And if I get one of them working good enough, I'll make you a great deal on it. So one of those kind of deals. Well, that's the station.
You got your Palstar.
Yeah, this is a Palstar tuner I use with all this boat anchor stuff.
Okay.
You have to set it manually, but now on all this over here, I've got a Palstar fully automatic antenna tuner here.
Okay.
That they say that they're bulletproof. I have managed to burn it up twice now. So, of course, one time I think lightning helped a little bit, but the other time 500 watts of AM cooked pretty good.
What kind of amp is this on?
Okay, that's an ACOM 700. It's HF and 6 meters. And we've got it paired up with Phyllis's 7300 over here. And it gets used mainly on FT8 and stuff like that, you know. But so that's our ham shack. Of course, it changes a lot. I bring stuff in and take it out. This receiver is Drake's very first amateur radio product. That is a Drake 1A receiver. And those were made in 1955.
1955.
And it receives CW and single sideband just beautifully.
I'll be darned.
I wish if I'd have thought about it, I'd have had it set up and hooked to the speaker so I could let you listen to it. But that I acquired that 2 years ago.
That is cool gear. That really is. I like doing these shack visit videos. I really do. Okay, now you got several awards around here too.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it goes all the way around. So, and this is a mixture of my stuff and Phyllis's now. She's got some good awards up here too.
All right.
My 5-band DXCC, I'm very, very proud of. Okay. I notice they're all crooked now. But the only thing I lack on that now is 6 meters and 160 meters. And eventually I'll get those medallions up there on it.
Okay.
My DXCC challenge, that was a tough one to get. I just sit off for Phyllis's. She is qualified for that now.
Okay.
And then you have to work, you have to get 1,000 points basically for every station. You get a point for every station and every band combination. So it takes a while to get all that, you know. And we didn't even realize she'd qualified for it. So we checked her award status on ARL here a while back, and it's like down there blinking. I'm like, wow, okay.
I like your shirt too.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I put that over for you. This is something kind of special here. If you hear people talk about the 13 Colonies event that comes on every year, these are all my 13 colony cards from last year.
All right.
And we were lacking one card for Phyllis's. We've got hers all filled out in another room. If we can ever get K2G in, she'll be finished.
Okay.
You know? This is Phyllis's 5-band worked all states.
All right.
So yeah, we've got enough awards to put in frames and probably finish out this wall.
And that's your 55th anniversary award?
Yep, for the Quarter Century Wireless Association.
All right.
Happy to get that.
All right. Let me hold here a second.
All right.
Okay, Ronnie, I saw you post the other day that you worked the original owner of that call sign. So you want to tell us how you got that call sign?
When I became a novice in 1969, of course, I was like all new hams. I had a million questions about things. And it was a joke I found out later. You would have had to have known this guy, but they said, you need to call Junior Earhart, W5SUM. Well, Junior was a man with patience about like that. And so the first time I called him, I was 15 years old. The first time I'd ever been cursed out by a grown man in my life. But he taught me something very, very important, and that was read the book. You know? So anyway, my original call sign was Whiskey Nancy 5 Alpha India Alpha. And when I got my general, they just put a B in there. So I was WB5AIA. Junior passed away in 1985. And some years later, when the vanity call signs became available, I called his son and asked him if he minded if I got his dad's call sign, and he did not. So I got W5SUM in 1996.
All right.
Now, I used to talk to him a lot back in the 70s and 80s. We had a little gathering on 10 meters, and that little picture I took of that logbook the other day that you saw, myself and WB5CMI are the only ones on that list that are still living. Everybody that was on that little net has since passed away. And one of the fellows that I used to talk to a lot was WA5QYQ. His name was A.V. Ballard, and he was Phyllis's father-in-law at the time. Because she was married to one of his sons. So, first time I ever went to field day in my life, it was held out at the, what did they call that? The maintenance facility at Forest Park West Cemetery out here. And what I didn't know was she was inside the house out there at the time. We've known each other since the 3rd grade.
Right.
So anyway, but getting back to Junior, he was an extremely knowledgeable man in radio, and I still speak to old timers every once in a while that remember Junior.
Okay.
They question how I got his call sign. So that's always kind of funny how that works out.
Yeah.
I got started, like I said, in 1969, and that was, that's kind of an innocent time when you're a novice. You just throw old wires up in the air, and everything works, and you're making contacts, and everything is fun. And then for Christmas in 1969, my daddy got me an SWR meter, and darkness entered my life. So at that point, everything I had around had a high SWR on it, and I spent months trying to make it all work. And that's when I called Junior, and his advice was, "Are you making contacts?" "Yes, sir." "Then leave your antenna alone." And I try to give that advice to newcomers as much as I can. The best thing a newcomer can do is try his best to get a good antenna up. It doesn't matter. You can buy a $5,000 radio, but if you don't have a good antenna, you're not going to talk to anybody. So do the best you can. I understand people live in HOAs sometime and they can't put up a big tower and a Yagi and everything, but if they can just get up a full wave loop, it doesn't matter if it's only 15 or 20 feet in there.
Right.
That antenna will help them make contact. And the one thing that beginners need to do is they need to trust Elmers, and I'd never mind somebody calling me and asking me a question. I don't always have an answer for it that they want to hear, but I'd love to give my knowledge to them. I've been doing this 57 years now, and there's other hams around here that know more than me, of course, but I think I've got enough knowledge to help people out when they need to.
That's right. That's right.
If you do get to put up any kind of a loop antenna, buy the best feed line you can get. I understand a lot of people, they see that RG58 that they can buy for pennies a foot, and that is the most horrible stuff that they could possibly use for feed line. Try to get RG8, RG214, or the best thing in the world is open wire line, and a good antenna tuner, and you're on the air, and buy the best equipment that you can possibly get. Amateur radio, I like to tell people, it's like scuba diving, okay? It's an expensive hobby, and if you buy cheap, you have cheap. Scuba diving, you buy cheap, you might kill yourself.
True.
Ham radio, you buy cheap, you're going to be disappointed in your results, But I've been doing this all my life. It's my main hobby. I know she gets frustrated sometimes. I sit back here on these radios all day long sometimes. But we're retired, what else are we going to do?
Yeah.
When I met Phyllis again in 2018, she immediately realized that this was a big part of my life. And so the next thing I know, she has a technician license. And she stepped right up to the plate and got her general, and then got her extra. And so this is a shared hobby that we both enjoy very much. That was rather ungraceful, Cat. Anyway, so this kind of keeps us together doing things.
That's good.
And you mentioned the Mina Ham Fest a while ago. That's our anniversary week, first week of September. So we go there every year.
All right.
And that's a very important trip to us. And we just go up there to see everybody.
Right.
We don't really go up there to spend money and stuff, but we just enjoy all of our ham radio family. And I've met hams all over the United States that I have actually met at the Dayton Ham Fest or in Orlando and places like that. You finally put a face to the voice you hear through the speaker all the time, and that's an exciting part of it too.
That's one thing I've liked about since I started doing this channel. I'm having people come up to meet me at Hamfest and stuff that have been watching the channel. And generally, the first question they ask me, "How's ham radio, Cat?" And then I know right then they've been watching.
Yep,
so I enjoy that.
Well, as you can tell, we have a lot of cats. We have one of them that is not going to show her face until you leave. She doesn't like strangers. Her name is Milo. But usually when I'm sitting here in the morning very early, working 80-meter DX, she's sitting right there.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know.
Well, them three we got, one of the boys, he's shy, he runs off, the other one never meets a stranger. Ham radio cat just don't like people in general. Sometimes.
I notice sometimes you pick him up, he doesn't look like he really wants to be picked up.
You know, once I moved into that office, when I was in my other room, when I had all my guns and everything in one room, she'd jump right up my lap every time. I don't think she likes, she'll go in there without me and get in my chair, but I don't think she likes me doing radio in there. Something's changed about it.
Well, Milo will curl up and sleep on this amp right here because it's warm, you know. And I used to have one of these big receivers up high, and we had another cat that would get up there and sleep on them for the warmth. But you know, that's just part of it. You open your radio up and it's full of cat hair, you know. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Like Al put a deal out and said, cats live here, y'all are just visiting. And that's just the way we look at it.
Yeah.
What kind of antennas you got up? What kind of feed line do you
Okay. Our main antenna here is a Sommer XP808. It's a log-fed Yagi on a 26-foot boom. Okay. And this antenna actually works from 6 meters to 40 meters. Okay. That doesn't mean it works great on all those bands, but you got all bands on one boom. It's at 55 feet on a 25G tower. Okay. And then we've got another short tower in back that's got a 6-meter beam and a 10-meter beam on it. Okay. Now, having worked in the railroad communications industry for years, I was able to scavenge a lot of 7/8-inch heliacs and half-inch heliacs. So that's what I'm running to all of our antennas, basically. Okay. I know that's out of reach for most hands.
Right.
So what I would recommend for anybody is to get RG214 or LMR 400 coax. Those are the most popular ones today. It's not cheap, but you want to have good coax. Otherwise, you have no signal at the end.
Right.
You know. But now for wire antennas on the low band, I've just got a 160-meter inverted beam. I don't have any kind of fancy loops or anything here. I used to. I had a 160-meter 4-wave loop, but over the last 20 years, lightning has taken nearly every pine tree I had here, so I have no more supports. Right. So I can't put up a loop anymore. But I love wire antennas. Right now, everybody is suddenly using these in-fed half-wave loop, half-wave long wire antennas. They call them the EFHW. Right. That is a great antenna. I have one in my radio building out here where my ham shack used to be. Now it's just a radio shop. And I've got one hooked up that I use on my radios on when I'm rebuilding them and testing them. And I've worked a lot of good DX on that one. Right. So, you know, a new guy just needs to put up the best he can put up, you know. They can't stand it. They have to put stuff off on the floor.
The same thing.
Yeah. So, you know, as far as antennas go, get up the best you can get up. Right. If you can get a tower in the Yagi up, do it. Be aware the city has restrictions. We have recently found this out the hard way. We got grandfathered in because our towers have been up so long.
Right.
You know, if you can put up a new one, you got to have a permit now.
Well, I live out in the country, and I live on 30 acres. Or I wouldn't have been able to put that Buckmaster up.
Yep.
That thing is almost as long as a football field.
Yep.
I've got it running. It's got a 90-foot leg and a 190-foot leg, or an 80-foot leg. And I'm enjoying it. I've had good luck with it.
Yeah.
I've fed it with 213.
Right.
If I bought the 3K rated one because I got an amp. I've never made a contact with an amp in my life. Everything I've run is barefoot. The guy gave me a 220 amp. Tim went through it and checked it all out, and I fixed the hook it to that 101 here pretty quick.
Hey, that'll be a good combination.
That's what
I'm actually looking for a 220 to go with my heat kit here. You know, it's a typical deal. When you don't want them, they're everywhere. And then when you decide you want one, it's like trying to find gold. You know. But anyway,
what kind of suggestion you got for anybody wanting to get into this hobby today?
Well, study. You know, get out there and get that license. get your gear and get on the air.
That's what I tell everybody.
We have way too many people locally here that spend weeks, months trying to get their antenna exactly perfect, and they're never going to do it. They're never going to do it. Get on the air and make contacts. That's what you have to do. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're running phone or FT8. I have no criticism for people running digital. I've got to where I love it very much, and I run it. If somebody wants to run CW, they need to learn it and get on there and use it, and just have fun. Get on the air. You know,
what you just said about people worrying about it, not ever getting on the air, reminds me of a buddy of mine at work back in the 90s. Want to get in, he knew I'd been reloading forever. He said, well, I'm going to start reloading. Right. He kept asking me questions, asking me more questions. He said, how many loads can you get out of a can of powder? I said, I don't know. I just load the cans empty and buy another one. He said, he come back, well, I figured it up. There's so many grains of powder in a pound, and if I buy this powder, this load, I can get this many grains of powder out of it. Okay, this many loads. He said, I just bought a box of 500 bullets. It had 504 in it. You counted them? I said, Jake, put some powder in the case, shove a bullet in it, and have some fun. You're going to make me quit doing this. You keep telling this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever loaded.
Yeah.
He was so fanatical about everything being perfect.
Bought all the equipment. Never
I don't know if he ever did or not.
I don't
know. That's the same way at ham radio, and that's kind of one of the reasons I started this channel. I had snarky comments made to me when I started this, sad ham comments, and I see them on social media, and I've always tried to just give people an answer without telling them you should do it this way. I make suggestions, and I try not to give them a NASA engineer answer either. That's one from my old buddy David. One of my listeners is a retired NASA engineer. He gets a kick out every time I say that statement. Well, that's all I've tried to do here. That's the same way. Just give somebody some advice. And if they need help, help them without going crazy on them. And that's
every ham is going to end up having his little clique of ham buddies, and they will be interested in something that I might not be. But that's what it's all about. You know, we're not all going to be the same. We're not all going to be interested in doing the same thing. You know, I've been a ham for 30 years before I ever even thought about getting a DXCC. Right. I had worked foreign countries all my life, but I hadn't gone after the piece of paper. When I went to work for the railroad out there with Randy Fulco and Marcel, everybody in the radio shop was a big DXer, and they were like, have you got your DXCC? Well, no. They wouldn't hear the end of it. You know, so I finally started getting my QSL cards out and got my DXCC, you know, so. But that's not for everybody. Some people are perfectly content just to talk to the locals, either on 80 meters or 2 meters, and that's fine. Right. That's what they want to do.
That's what they want to do.
Do it how you want to do it.
That's exactly what I tell everyone to do. This is the one hobby you can get as far into or as light into as you want.
That's correct.
Only thing I ask people to do is if you go to the trouble of getting a ticket, don't let it lapse.
That's correct.
Because there's several things there. We got to keep our numbers up. And as long as that ticket is active, whether you use it or not, it shows up as an active ham.
We had an individual contact me recently, and he told me my license got expired during COVID in 2019. Do you think I can renew it? And I had to give him the bad news. If it's been expired for 2 years, you have to retest it. So he's going to the Minden Ham Fest and start out. You know, he was an extra class ham. He said, I don't even know if I can take that extra class exam now. I said, just get your technician, get your call sign, get back on there.
That's it.
You know, and then you can worry about getting your general and your extra. You know.
And you know, I try to support ham clubs. I like y'all's stuff y'all do over here. In fact, at 06, I drove over here and had y'all test me when I upgraded after they dropped the code.
Right.
And I've got hearing loss and I couldn't pass the code earlier.
Yeah.
And I had to come over here because the club I went to up home refused to test me because they didn't like no code general. And the club's gone now.
Yeah. And that's why they're gone.
Yep. And that's my first experience with Shreveport was coming back over here to get tested.
We have a good club here.
Got a good ham fest y'all do. And
Now,
as soon as y'all get an ad ready, send it to me so I can start getting the video.
I will have one in hand in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug here.
All right, right ahead.
Shreveport Ham Fest this year, everybody, is the Delta Convention. It's going to be on August the 8th. It's a 2-day ham fest this year. We hope to have the president of ARL here to give a talk. That's not in stone yet, but he's going to be here. We do have confirmation from Ham Radio Outlet is going to be here as our vendor. It's going to be a big one. Be here or be square.
That's great. Ronnie and Phyllis, thank y'all. I appreciate this and enjoyed getting to meet y'all and coming over here and hope to see y'all at more of these events.
Come
Thank y'all.
on anytime.